Hello, I'm Elspeth. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a psychic watercolor portrait of David Attenborough. He's 99 years old. He's contributed so much to the world of science and entertainment. I grew up watching his nature documentaries, and I'm sure you did too. If not, then it's a great time to dive in and watch The Blue Planet. What are some of the others? He is just so prolific in the documentaries about animals and wildlife. Anyway, he's responsible for a lot of people getting a new appreciation for the world we live in. And what a special gift he is and continues to be. So let's dive in, and I'll meet you on the page. Let's do a painting and see what happens. All right, let's open the call with David Attenborough. So I'm getting a scene where I can feel David is crouched in front of a camera crew, and they're all sort of holding their breath, and they're in the wilderness, and it feels like it's evening. The sunlight is fading away, and they're waiting in anticipation. And it feels like there's a lot riding on this. Feels like they're tired, they're fatigued, and they've been hanging their hopes on catching a glimpse of something quite minuscule, quite tiny. And David is sort of urging everyone to keep holding on, that he just has a feeling that it's going to show up and it's going to be worth it, and that they're in the right spot. And this feels like a pivotal shoot. And he's really betting on his instincts. And I feel that they actually were very lucky, and they were the first to capture footage of this. It seems like to me, it seems like a rare sort of like a bug, and it's living amongst leaves, but it hasn't been studied before. It hasn't been documented before on television. And it feeds into a larger story of the food chain that's going to lead on to the more ferocious guests of the show. And this was one that no one seemed to really show any enthusiasm about, because they really didn't understand, they didn't know. And David feels like part of his gift is unlocking mysteries, examining, and he delights in finding the through line of how everything is interconnected. And from the tiniest of species, you you have the lions, but they are all interconnected. And the fabric of all of these diverse species creates this amazing ecosystem that everything is interdependent. And it's just magical to see the ways in which they all thrive and depend on each other. I get that early in his career, he didn't feel the support that he wanted or felt that he needed at the time, which he's also saying you would find it hard to believe, but I didn't feel encouraged. I'm getting from his father. And I feel that because it was sort of a road untrodden, he felt even more compelled, because he likes feeling like he's discovering something for himself, and he loves sharing that. His mission isn't to teach humans about themselves, but he feels that he is educating a large audience about themselves by investigating animals and critters and all of the incredible, wondrous other beings that inhabit our planet. And he feels that he actually has a better chance of speaking directly to people about their responsibility to care for one another by talking about something seemingly off topic, like other species. But he feels that this is the very best way to educate people when their guards are down and they're not feeling defensive about how important and unique they are. And now more than ever, he feels that it's a good time for people to understand the danger that they're in, the delicacy and the fragility and the miracle of life, and not to take it for granted. He finds it so incredible of all the wildlife that he's studied, that how humans destroy their own habitat in a way that you don't see in the wild. And for all the intelligence that humans have, it really is astonishing the lengths that they'll go to remain ignorant and to remain unhelpful to their own species. He's quite candid, and I feel a deep sense of peace in him, and that he's devoted his life so thoroughly that he feels very content with. He acknowledges his powerlessness in being able to be heard and be understood. It used to really be a source of frustration, but he's come to understand that it's about the resonance that he has felt at any given time, and being true to his subject. And he knows that his work will outlast him, and that he really devoted all of his abilities to being quite masterful in his approach. It was very important to him not to disturb. And to be a helpful and enlightening and inspiring contributor to the world. To share the enthusiasm and the care, the sense of care that he had and that he observed in the living world around him. Right, let's get some cooler tones here. I feel the presence of his mother. And it's like there's a memory of plum pudding. Such a reverence for tradition in his family. And I'm seeing a very plush navy blue corduroy and khaki trousers. Dark wood. This feels like a study area, or like a reading room. I can hear the creak of a chair that he's leaning back in. I just heard New York in the summer of 1971. And I could see like the side of Central Park along the avenue where the museums are lined up. So it's near I guess the Museum of Natural History. And I can feel him walking. I just heard penny loafers. And it feels like he's with his wife. And they're walking and they're chatting together about what to have for lunch. Okay, now I feel that he's in a boat. And it's another expedition. It really does feel that he spends a lot more time with this crew. And I can feel there's a guy with like red curly hair operating the camera behind him. And they're sitting in a boat. It's like a small sort of dinghy, and they're cramped in together. And they just heard a splash, and this time there's a lot more activity pretty soon after they've set up. So it's hard to prepare for these shoots because sometimes they have to wait a long time, and then other times the action might start pretty soon after they've arrived. So most of the work is in being ready and preparing before they even go out on location, being prepared for all sorts of weather and being so patient. This is where all the excitement is. This is really, I feel like the energy from him of like a warrior, someone going into battle, but the bravery, and it's all in the excitement of the adventure. They're hunting they're hunting to watch, of course. And they're hoping to get the closest glimpse without being noticed. And if they are noticed by their subject, he is so in tune with his energy. It's almost like he can, like if he were a diver, it's like he can slow down his own heart rate and temper his breath so that he's barely there. And he does that with his energy. He, without even being conscious of this, I think he is tuning his vibration to be sort of the perfect guest. So he's sort of silently greeting his subjects and thanking them, like in his mind. But again, I don't think that it was very, he was consciously saying something in his mind, but his presence, he was very aware to be respectful. And his gratitude was the key to allowing him into these very special scenes that no one else would have really been able to get entry into. But it's like the wildlife could sense his deep humility. Deeply humble and deeply gracious. And that was really his entry card. That's what allowed him to get much closer and see much further in. He really tuned in to whatever he was watching and sort of became a very similar vibration. Really a master at his own vibration. A very soft, I want to say pensive, a very loving, analytical, and careful, spontaneous, really an artist of observance. In the way that a painter might closely observe his subject and then try and communicate that with paints. His talent was translating what he saw into information that would also inspire an emotional connection and appreciation. He wasn't just absorbed with facts and detail. He really was also tuning into the character of the beings that he was studying. And that's what made it so engaging, because of his empathy. And his appreciation for beauty in all living things. I'm in his residence again, and it feels like quite a large house, and it feels quite dark and cool. And I can see a garden out the window, and I can see there's a few indoor plants. Feels like a very tall, like a rubber tree with beautiful, majestic leaves. But I think that it's something else. And he has, it feels like it's an African plant. He's quite proud of his indoor friends, plants. He never feels alone. He's so aware of the movement and the life around him. And what he really wants to express is that when you can get still get really, really quiet and still. Only then can you be aware of all of the life that is so present around you. And if you can do that, then you'll never feel lonely. Because everything that is happening to you is happening in a microcosm. And it's being experienced by millions of creatures living on the planet beside you and with you. And if you can tune into that life energy, there's so much to learn, there's so much to understand. And if you ever feel like you have a question mark about your life, just get very still and listen and observe. And you will, the answers will occur to you, because it's all around us. We spend so much of our energy drowning out the intelligence that is here for us and part of us and part of all living cells and all living creatures. And the goal is the same. It's the enjoyment and delight of living. And preserving and taking care of each other and our habitats. And that will always bring you more joy, is to take care of ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for each other. Okay, I'm actually going to leave it here for right now, and I'm going to come back and work on some finer detail. And thank you so much for watching. This has been a real treat to do this painting, and I hope that wherever you are, you're having a really beautiful day, and that you pay closer attention to the wildlife around you, whether it's inside or outside today, because it's probably paying attention to you. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.